Coco, welcome to Dubai. Ever since the Grand Slam win in 2023 in the US, has your mindset changed on how you approach the game, or is it still about taking it one match at a time? Or are we starting to think on the larger picture, saying how you define your legacy?
No, I think it's just one match at a time right now. I mean, obviously I want to do great in tennis, but, I have a lot of years left in this game, so I think I can't quite look at that. I feel like that's something people look at the end of their careers. Yeah, so far so good. Looking forward to hopefully having a better week here. And yeah, it didn't take me too long. It was just a bad day at the office, but I'm not going to let it define how the rest of this week will go. So yeah, it's definitely like weird conditions. I think the court is faster than it was last year. But, other than that, I mean, sometimes it gets windy here, but it hasn't been, incredibly windy like it is in Florida right now. So, other than that, I think it's pretty much the same. And, yeah, it's a little bit, even though, they're both kind of in the desert, it's definitely different from Doha. So, especially playing, earlier in the day, whereas Doha was, mainly at night. So, yeah, I think that's where people get, the conditions kind of hard to transition to. I mean, it definitely can be jarring, not necessarily because I lost first or opening match, is just because I didn't play that well that match. So maybe if I, played better and still lost, it would be different. But, at the end of the day, I played 12 matches this year, and I would say that was the first really bad, loss that I had even in the semifinals. I didn't play necessarily bad the whole time. So I think it's just keeping that in perspective. I mean, it definitely changes your schedule a little bit, but, for me, I feel like I'm always adjusting to tour life, playing more tournaments, because when I was 18 under, I had the restrictions, and then technically that last year or the year before last year was my first full year. So I'm still learning the whole mandatory situation, but it hasn't changed the way I guess I approach it, except maybe after Australia, I was thinking maybe not playing Doha, but since it was a 1,000, I decided to play. And I don't base my results off of that decision, but it's definitely different. And I think I think I'm on the fence of just waiting and seeing how it goes. There's always already been a couple pullouts this year, especially this week in Dubai. So it'll be interesting. I mean, me personally, I think, I think maybe at least missing one or two should be allowed with the way our sport is, but also at the same time, I get the business side of it and the media side of it and how to promote our sport. You want the best players there, so it's just about adapting. At the end of the day, I think players should just make decision what's best for them, and not think about ranking or any of that. At the end of the day, it's just up to the individual person to decide what's important to them and adapt from there.
Just on the back of a packed schedule, as you said, how do you keep yourself mentally fit, aside from all the strength and conditioning that you do for your body, the physicality of it? How do you keep yourself mentally fit?
Yeah, I think for me, I've noticed that if I do a lot, it's not a lot, but if, for example, I lost in Doha and the next day I did a desert excursion, which is something I would have never done in the past, because I usually when I lose, I usually just dwell on it too long, and I think that could be mentally tolling, because you do lose, a lot. You lose more than you win, probably, and especially in tennis. So for me, I've been trying to just enjoy the other aspects in life other than tennis, and then just listening to your body and listening to your mind. If you need to feel you need to miss a tournament, miss it. I mean, for me, I always try to play as much as I can with being healthy. Every week, trying to see what are the areas that I could improve on and how I can transfer that into the next week. And I'm usually really trying to use these tournaments, to just continue to improve. I know, thousands mean a lot, but I think for me, I need to try to play the way that will make me successful for long term.
Coco, often the question arises about equal pay for both men and women in tennis. What are your take on this?
Yeah, for me, it's just for me, I think the biggest thing is that, in most sports in the world, people watch the men's game more than the women's. And I think we continue to bring fans. And the problem is also we have to market our women's sports better and market us better. And I think the past couple years, I feel like the marketing for for women's sports has been invested more in, and therefore there's been more watchability and people watching. So I think if we continue to invest in women's sports, then it will profit, almost the same as the men and garner equal pay. And I'm grateful, like for us, at least on most tournaments or some tournaments on the tour in the Grand Slams, obviously we have equal pay, and hopefully tennis can be the leader of that and fiddle down into other sports as well. Honestly, when we practice with guys, a lot of women play baseline games with them, and we win the games sometimes. I played with Chris a couple times. I played with Francis last year in Indian Wells, and I win a couple times. I don't. So baseline games are usually, I think, are in some, depending on the guy serving. Some of them don't have as good serve, so we can return it. But like baseline games are usually like a good like common ground for us to play.